In the front seat of a car, police find a prepaid cell phone, a disposable camera, and a bottle of hydrogen peroxide. Tools of the trade for a sex offender.
Shocked. Very shocked. You'd never think that it's going to happen to you, to your own child.
Adrienne Miller is a single mother who thought she was doing everything right when it came to her 16-year-old daughter using the internet.
I know all of her contacts that are on there. She'll show me pictures.
But what about her daughter's text messages? Cell phone companies don't save them anywhere, and if sexual predators convince a potential target to erase them from the phone, even a careful parent won't see who their teenager's been texting. And many sex offenders know that.
They know that if they have the cell phones and they can text, they can train that child to delete those texts.
Naperville cybercrimes detective Rich Wistocki says Chicago and 7 suburbs have all had cases recently where sex offenders were text messaging their victims. As we reported last fall, Congresswoman Judy Biggert says cell phone companies should be preserving text messages and making them available to parents. The companies, however, say there are privacy issues and not enough storage space. So far, nothing's been done, but on her new website, Adrienne Miller is starting a petition drive for interested parents.
Cell phone companies have the ability to store the information, but they're not.
Miller got involved after she learned her daughter was chatting online with a new friend who called himself Jesse.
I would question her, who are you talking to? It's my new friend Jesse. Well, I don't know a Jesse.
When she checked out Jesse's MySpace page, she found an alarming contradiction.
It was old music, Air Supply, just music from the 80s. It wasn't that of a 16-year-old, but his pictures were a 16-year-old kid.
So she went to the police.
I ran a phone number in the police database, came back to a person named Brian Halstead.
Brian Halstead, a parent's worst nightmare. The 44-year-old Halstead had just spent 2 decades in prison for raping a 13-year-old girl and shooting her father. He'd been released in 2007.
When he got out of prison, he started making 5 or 6 different MySpace accounts to make his 16-year-old persona look real.
Rich Wistocki, posing as Miller's teenage daughter, began communicating with Halstead online. Halstead suggested they meet at a fast food restaurant in Naperville.
When he went to go look at her, he knew that it wasn't her. Walked out of the Burger King, went back to his car, and that's where we arrested him.
Halstead was picked up for violating his parole and later questioned by Wistocki.
He had split personality. It was really the most bizarre interrogation I've ever done.
Shortly after that interview, Halstead hanged himself in his prison cell. In his car, police had found that cell phone, the disposable camera, and the hydrogen peroxide.
The parole guy said, you know, hey, you even brought the hydrogen peroxide. And I was like, so what? He goes, hydrogen peroxide destroys the DNA proteins in semen.
The camera was for pictures of his victim, and the phone? Police say Halstead planned to give it to the girl so they could start texting each other, avoiding emails and detection by a concerned parent.
The petition is stating are parents willing to pay up to $10 a month if they could view the messages.
Miller says that so far the parents she's talked with say that it's a small price to pay for protecting their children. Larry Yellen, Fox Chicago News.